Welcome to the Sports Card Lessons podcast with me, your host, Ken. I'm a retired teacher documenting my hobby journey here on the pod, finding teachable moments to share with all of you along the way. Don't forget to hit me up on social media on Instagram at sportscard_lessons. Hit that follow button. And you can also find me on YouTube by searching Sports Card Lessons. And if you like what you hear, please like, subscribe, and most importantly, tell a friend and spread the word. Welcome, everybody. I am so excited to have my good friend Allan Greenberg on from JA Sports Cards on the pod today. Allan, how you doing today?
Great. How you doing, Ken?
Doing well. So you and I met a few months ago. I think it was back in March at a local card show here. We were both set up, and I was surprised to hear that there was a card shop so close to my house. We spoke a little bit that day, and I think now, like we didn't know each other before that, and I think now we see each other 5 times a week, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Me coming into the store, having to see everything new, everything, and it's so nice to have a store so close to me. I mean, literally within 10 minutes to be able to go and check out everything new and just talk with the people, knowledgeable people in the store. So just getting started today, Allan, tell me a little bit about your background, kind of your hobby journey and where you were and how you ended up owning a card shop.
Well, I mean, my hobby started back when I was a little kid. I mean, collecting baseball cards and football cards, and with my dad, and bringing me to shops, and uh, just having somewhere to go with my dad, and I thought about that when I was collecting through the years. Like, I would really want that to be something I could do with my kids. And as they started collecting, we started collecting together. We did baseball, football. My kids collected Pokemon, but we would open boxes together. And during the pandemic, it became, you know, a lifeline because we were just bored as heck to just not being able to do anything. And I was working from home. I'm in mortgages. I do mortgages for a living, for a paying job, and they the mortgages were still pretty busy, but they had everybody living working from home, and so my boys were home, and we decided. We were going to buy a couple different boxes and have openings and stuff like that every day. Every day we'd open something different, whether it was a pack or a box or something. And it became something where became really, really interested in maybe actually opening a shop, which was a dream from when I was a little kid. I always wanted to have my own shop, and so we were seeking out a couple different spots and found a spot, and now we're here. We're here in Hamden and have our own store. And I work with my two boys that work with me whenever they can, when they're not in school. And it's just a dream, not necessarily job. It's a dream venture. Now I know that it's not going to be something I'm going to be able to do, full time. And this is my only job probably for a long time. Maybe someday, who knows? But for now, it's a amazing situation to be able to work with your two boys at a
It's
store.
like a family business for you,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
pretty much. And both my boys are integral parts of the success of the store. Josh, my youngest son, is very knowledgeable in Pokemon and football. He does all the evaluations of cards that need to be sent out for grading. He's got a really good eye for looking at a card and be able to say, hey, this should go out for a grade to PSA for maybe a 9 or a 10. And very helpful with people that want to try to maybe send in their cards and want some guidance with that. Plus, he's 17, but you talk to him and he sounds like he's 25. He's just a really knowledgeable kid and good kid. And my older son set up our Instagram page and does all our marketing. And so, yeah, it's really great to be able to work with your two sons at an age where they don't necessarily want to hang out with their dad all the time, but they do because of the same passion we have for collecting cards. So
Yeah. And I talked about Josh a couple of episodes ago. from the Autograph Fest that we were set up next to each other, and it was just great to have someone there that was so knowledgeable that when somebody was coming to the table showing me a card and I would be looking it up to see what the variations was, with Josh there, I could just look over at him and hold it up and he could tell me immediately what variation it was, if it was good, if it wasn't good. And the other thing I want to say about him too, and I've been in the store when people have come in, and I've come in with my own cards and other people come in with cards, and you do subbing to PSA for grading, and he'll look at those cards and he's honest, right? And that's like the best part of it. He will look at this card and say, hey, this card, I can almost guarantee you're going to get a 10, and another card he could say, I don't even think you're going to get an 8 on it, but if you want to get it graded, go ahead, but this is my opinion from what I see on the card. And from what I understand on some of your subs you've already gotten back, that he's been almost spot on with the grades.
Yeah, I mean, he can't guarantee a 10, but he'll say it's at least a 9 or a 10, and that's what makes it worth it for you to send in or not send it in. And yeah, he's got a much better eye than I do. So
younger eyes.
Yes, absolutely. No glasses.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's just talk about the main focus of the store. I mean, obviously it's cards, and you have some Pokemon in there. And I know you're doing some breaks as well. What I mean, you've had the store open a few months now. Really, what do you think is, your biggest seller when people are coming in? What are they looking for? Where's the money being spent?
Football cards and Pokemon are the two big sellers. But I think it's more of an experience. See so many dads and sons and dads and daughters and kids coming in through the store and being able to, kind of hang out, maybe talk sports a little bit, look at some cards, buy a card, buy a pack, open it in the store. It's the experience, I think, more or less. And it's just a hobby that, goes way beyond just going into a store and buying something. It's, sharing that hobby with other people that have that same passion, and seeing other dads come in with their sons, it just brings back those memories for me. And so I really try to gear things towards the younger generation. Have a lot of Pokemon stuff here, a lot of different Pokemon things. We're doing a trade night on Friday night, which will bring out a lot of kids, looking to trade Pokemon, maybe even some adults trading some football cards, baseball cards. But just to have something during the pandemic, everybody was going away from going into a store. It was like, oh, we got to get a mask and blah, blah, blah. I mean, not saying we don't wear masks, but we will if there's that issue. But what we do is try to have that old fashioned, hey, let's go into a store and buy stuff, or hang out, or actually sit down at a table and talk about sports or cards, or maybe trade some cards. And it's something that's an experience that's a family thing for me, and it's a family thing for others, I think, too. And those are the biggest compliments we've had with the stores. People come in there and they love the atmosphere. They love kind of hanging out and chatting with us. And sometimes people come in, they don't even buy anything, but they're there for half an hour and they're just chatting about cards and about different things. And I'm sure you've come in many times and you just kind of hang out.
You're describing me to a T. I'm the guy that comes in, I buy a couple things, but I usually hang out 30
and sometimes you don't buy, and that's fine. And that's the whole point, is to have that little outlet for people, and eventually you do buy. And so I don't think that's the focus is really on family and sharing the passion with other people that love this hobby. So
I think I may have missed out a little bit years ago when my son was younger, because he was into Pokemon, but I would go buy the cards. I mean, I would stop by the store on the way home from work. I would buy some packs of cards, and I'd come home and I'd be, the great guy. I'd drop here you go, here's your packs of cards. And thinking back on it now, I think I missed out. If I would have been more involved in the hobby, I would have known to pick him up and put him in the car and bring him over and do it together. So I think in a way I kind of missed out on that.
It's a blast. And I mean, I didn't really realize it as much until the last couple of years with the pandemic and everything, because we'd stop by a store and pick up some cards, and we wouldn't really open them there. We would actually go home and open them. But just the fun thing about this is, like, when we're sitting behind the desk or whatever, the counters, and we're seeing people open cards, and we don't open them ourselves very often, but it kind of fills that gap of not being able to open our own products, that's our profits, and being able to watch somebody else open them. And so it's just as fun, and we do breaks here too. And when you do a break, the same thing where you're opening boxes for other people who are buying into the break. We're not keeping most of those. I mean, sometimes we'll buy a team or something, but those cards are going out to those people. And those situations, we're as excited about other people getting good cards as we are about ourselves getting good cards. It's just the excitement of the whole thing of opening a pack or opening a box and getting a great card that's worth a lot of money for somebody. I think we actually got one for you that was worth a good amount of money, with Mac Jones auto or whatever, when
Yep.
you had the Patriots. So it's just fun to, not necessarily open them ourselves, but watch other people enjoy it. And that's the fun part, with somebody opening a card in front of us and being worth a couple $1,000s. We had a couple of people like that. And that's just fun. Put it
Yeah.
up on Instagram and say, hey, that's from our shop, but it's not, only thing we benefit from is selling in the box, but we enjoy it so much that it actually excites us to watch somebody else, get a nice card or whatever. And it's actually also disappointing when they don't get a nice card. Well, we're bummed out for them. They spent a couple $100s on a box and then it didn't work out for them. And so,
I,
it's
I do have to say, I mean, I've watched your breaks, and if some boxes weren't that good, you guys have always added extra stuff on the back end. There was
yeah. I mean, it's not.
always something else to
We're
add.
not making a lot of money on those things. The bottom line is that you want people to be happy, and you want to, at least, you can't. We could open 20 boxes and still not get anything. Well, at least we made an effort.
Yeah.
We'll throw in a couple extra boxes just so people can see that we're trying.
Yep.
And it's all about that. It's all about, that public perception of us, of, we're trying to help you guys, get a nice card, or give you a nice, we give people free gifts when they walk in the store, for their first time. Most of the time they're never been in the store before. We'll give the kid a free pack of baseball cards or whatever, if that's what they collect. And it's just, that's what you got to do at the beginning, points of a business. We've only been in business for a little over 3 months now, so
Mm.
there's things you have to do to stay in business,
Yep.
and sometimes it means losing a little bit of money in order to keep people happy and make some friends.
Yeah. And just getting back to the breaks, I mean, if you're in breaks, you've opened up your own boxes of cards, you've gone and bought cards, and unless you're extremely lucky, there's a lot more dud boxes of cards than there are, with big hits inside of a card. So that's what makes the big hit so great, right? That's what
Yeah. Oh yeah,
that's what really
absolutely.
keeps you coming back. Everybody can talk about that one or two or three great hits that they've had, and really that's what keeps you coming back. So really, on the backside with a break, I've always felt you can't be upset if you get involved in a break and you don't get anything, because I've
Sure.
bought regular boxes and not gotten anything either. So yeah.
I think Josh, my son, does the breaks, and he does a good job of keeping people, interested. He knows all the players. He knows all the different variations, and it's fun. We kind of try to keep it light, and but yeah, breaks are, that you're going into it with, possibly you're going to lose that money that you just put in there,
Yeah.
but you might get a great card and it might make up for it one time or another. But it's fun. I think people are joining them just for the fun of watching it and being involved with. And most of the people that are in our breaks are people from the community, people
Yeah.
from Hamden and Cheshire in this area. So we know everybody in the breaks. So when they're in there, we'll know, like, hey, it's, Ken got that, Mac Jones auto, and we had one guy that had a Justin Herbert auto, and he actually drove down to the store that night to pick up the auto card. He had never had a Justin Herbert auto, and he drove down after the break to the store and picked it up, and was so excited about it. And so
Mm.
it's just fun to be amongst the community and have people come into the store and chat for a while. We always have a game on at the store, and
Yeah.
whether it's football, baseball, soccer,
Mhm.
during the day, just to, kind of keep people into the sports mode. So
Nice. Yeah. Always watching those games when I come in.
yeah, I mean, soccer is big now. So
Yeah.
we had a lot of people come in the store for soccer. We always have a soccer game on during the day. If it's no baseball, it's always soccer. I'm not really into the soccer as much. I don't know a lot about it, but it's obviously a very popular sport, and it's become popular in the sports cards industry too.
So I think you kind of touched on it, but I'm going to ask the question anyways. Like the biggest differences that you see between, running the card shop and setting up at the shows.
Yeah, I mean, the shop is really kind of just, you wake up and you come into the store and you're like, oh, who's going to stop in today? Who's going to chat today? It's a very relaxed atmosphere. The shows are a little bit tense because you always have somebody coming over to your table wanting to sell you something. You do that with the store as well. People come into our store and want to sell us something or sell us their collections, and that's fine. That's okay. But the people that are at the shows are like the guys with the big cases and the $50,000 cards that they want to get all their money or their cash for. Or they want to make a trade, and it's a little bit more pressure. There's a lot more people that are dropping by. It's a lot more action going on. The store is kind of a laid back atmosphere, family kind of atmosphere, community. The show is big business. That's what it is. And you go there kind of expecting that somebody's going to try to rake you over the coals with some sort of trade, and you kind of try to work through it and see if you can make a little bit of money selling some cards. And I enjoy the shows. I think it's if you like the action of a lot of people coming in all at once, and the show down in New Jersey was pretty busy, and I'm assuming that Nationals is going to be very busy, and I like that kind of atmosphere as well. But it's a whole different game. That's big business. The store is somebody comes in and buys a pack of cards, or comes in with their kid and wants to look through some cards. It's fun. They're both different kinds of fun.
Yeah, totally different
Yeah.
atmosphere. So what I did kind of announce that you were going to be on this week. I did have one person wanted me to ask you a question. In a card store, is negotiating a price in a card store like when you go to a card show, you can negotiate. You can try
All the
to.
time. Yeah.
When you get into a card store, is it frowned upon? Is it? I mean, do you
Listen,
price that you're going to negotiate, or do you price like you're just going to sell your card?
typically, it's different. People walk into a store and they see me and my son there, and they kind of know that they're kind of maybe supporting a small business that is just kind of just getting by. We're not making a ton of money there. People don't necessarily negotiate because I think they want to support us, and I think they understand that. But we will also, if I said the other day I had a kid come in. He gets a $20 allowance every week, and he's probably 11 years old. And he came in with his dad, and he had $20, and he wanted to buy a baseball box. And my cheapest box was $25. I gave him the box for $20. I mean, I'm not going to not. The kid wanted a box. I didn't have a box at $20, but so the guy was very appreciative. He was like, "Oh wow, that's great. That's so awesome of you." Now that would never happen at a show. The show, they would automatically say, "I'll do it for 20." They wouldn't even think about expecting it, except they expect you to negotiate. In the store, it's not an expected thing, but people do negotiate, and I'm fine with that. If somebody is buying a bunch of cards, or I think you even negotiated one card that we had. I think it was a Mac Jones that you bought from me. That you had, and he said, "Will you do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
But we started that at trade night, so
Yeah, I know, it's true. No, we had another one. Remember the first one you bought? I think it was a different one. Either way, if somebody comes in and says that they want to buy a $500 card and they offer me $450 for it, I'm going to take it. I'm not going to tell a guy no. Single cards are different. The boxes, we don't make a lot of money on boxes. We make very little on boxes, so there's not a lot of room there. But I'm not going to turn somebody away if they negotiate. I'm always there, and then the other stores may not work that way. But you just you got to be a little flexible, and so you got to work it out into the price a little bit. So
yeah. I always say one of the things I look forward to the most at a show is you never know what's going to show up at your table. People show up with the cases, and sometimes they're these small little cases or these great big Zion boxes, and they always ask, are you buying? And you always say yes. And you know, when that case starts to open, you have no idea if you're going to see a bunch of $1 cards or a bunch of $100,000 cards. So I have to imagine, having a local store that, probably on a weekly basis, you just see the same type of people coming in, seeing if you're interested to buy their card.
Yeah, I mean, we see people a couple kids want to sell their $2 cards just to buy a $5 pack, or somebody wants to sell their, $50,000 card and get $50,000 for it. And unfortunately, we're not able to give them what they're expecting. So yeah, we have all different levels of sellers that come into the store. And it's actually, yeah, it's definitely day by day, you get somebody different, and you kind of deal with it as it comes by. And, sometimes we're not able to buy it, or we're not capable of buying a $50,000 card on the spot. So we have to, work out something, or maybe try to work out a deal, which, you and I were able to work out a deal with somebody, and it worked out well. And I think that there's people that are very flexible with what they think that their cards are worth because of the current market. And then, what do they think that the cards are worth in a good market? And if they're realistic, we're paying it. So, and I think that what people have noticed with us is that we do actually pay more than most card stores do on a percentage basis of what they're actually worth. And I think it's because we figure, we don't need to make a killing on every deal, and we'd rather make, friends and people that are going to come back. If we turn people away, because of a couple dollars, then we'll never see them again. I mean, they're going to be like, oh, that guy didn't really have any, any negotiation at all in there. And so if I'm able to work out something and we're fair, people will come back, with bigger amounts of cards. And so,
and these are your distributors, right? I mean, they could be your distributors. If they're bringing cards in that you're buying, it gives you more product.
That's exactly it. And it's like, some people say, well, we'll give you, the big thing in the industry, I believe, is like 50% of what eBay sales are. Average eBay sales is what was like the industry standard of what a card store will actually give you for a card or a collection. They'll look up the eBay sales, and they'll say, all right, well, half of 10 grand is $5 grand. We'll give you $5 grand for it. And I think that if you just keep it at that standard, these people are going to be like, well, they're going to try to find a better deal, and there's always going to be somebody that's going to give you 60% just because they want to beat out the 50%. I don't look at every deal like that. I look at every deal as, individual, who the player is. Is it going to get graded? Is it a gradable card? To take it in on trade, am I selling them a box that I would, have some profit in? If I'm taking it as cash, well, what am I going to get for it if I have to sell it on eBay? What are the fees after all the fees are involved? If I do have to sell it on eBay, if it's a popular player, it's a popular local player, Mac Jones, whatever, I might pay a little bit more for it because I know I can sell it pretty quickly to somebody that walks in the store. So it's all different. I don't think that there should be a standard of, this is what it should be of what you pay. It should be based upon the individual situation. And sometimes it's based upon the person selling you the card. You selling me a card coming into the store, and somebody that's never been into the store coming in trying to sell me a card. It's two different things. I know you're coming back. I know that we're fair together. Well, listen, I don't want to make a ton off you. I know that you're going to come back and work with me before again. I'm gonna give you probably a good deal. If somebody is just trying to work me for price, or maybe try to compare it to somebody else, I might not be as generous. I don't know. I like to make friends, but I also don't like some of the sales people that come into the store trying to sell their card being, I want comp value for it, or I want to buy cards from you below eBay value, but I want you to pay me above eBay value. So there's always a game in regards to the sellers that come in the store. So,
and we see that at the show too. I mean, you see that at the show all the time, that people
everybody wants to make a killing, and that's the thing, is sometimes an even trade, if you want to make an even trade, we'll make an even trade. But if you want to make a killing, maybe you got to go to another table. So
and if comps are down on, if you're trading and comps are down on this card, comps are down on your card. Like
Right.
you can't say
Yeah.
that, this is the comps on your card, but I'm over comps on my card. I mean, if we're going to
Right.
go comps, we got to go, even across the
Yeah.
board.
So we did that trade night over in New Jersey that night, the night before,
Mhm.
and we were sitting at the table there, and it was the one in the mall, right? And
Yep.
so it was in that little restaurant there, and a couple of people came over, and there was same thing. It was like they wanted top dollar for their cards because this is what eBay says, but they want to pay you half of what eBay says, and for that they want me to pay for that. It's just like it's so that's the way sales is. That's the way sales is always going to be. But I don't like to be considered a salesperson. I think that I'm
Mhm.
fair, I'm honest. That's what we try to be,
Yeah.
and I think that's why people like us. So
Yeah, yeah, and I think for the other people too. I mean, you see it a lot. It's a business for these people, and
yeah,
I don't take it personal because I know not only are they making the offer to me and telling me, I want to pay you at 50 or 60% comps, but they're doing that at every person at every table down the line. And if there's
sure,
120 tables or if there's 200 tables at the show, they're probably going to find a handful of people that are going to say, yes, I'll accept
yeah,
that, and that's their business. That's
yeah,
their business practice. So at first when I started doing shows, I kind of took it to heart a little bit, thinking like,
yeah,
was he preying on me because I was new or this or that? But then I realized I really settled down with the shows, and I realized I watched them go from table to table with the
yeah.
same. Yeah, so
It's fun.
yeah,
You always have somebody that's coming to your table and looking up the comps and saying this is what I'll pay you for these boxes, and they're saying, well, this is what it says on eBay, and this is what it says on StockX, this is what I'll give you for your boxes, and I'm like, well, I can't let them go at that price, whatever reason, and they walk away, and I'm fine with that. So,
yeah,
but yeah, it is definitely learning experience as I'm going through and understanding how sellers are, and I know when somebody walks through the door what kind of seller they're going to be, just
yeah.
by the way they're carrying their case. So they just whip it out. You know, what do you want?
Or what's in that case, right? Yeah,
Then
yeah,
if it's somebody comes out with a bunch of slabs and they're all Ben DiNucci, we just we know where this is going. So
yeah, yeah. So let me ask you, with the downturn in the financial market, have you seen the effects on the store? Now, I know you've just opened the store not too long ago, but have you seen
yeah,
anything? I mean, I know the gas prices just have recently gone up. The market's taken a hit over the last month or so. Have you seen that effect with cards?
I think that there has definitely been a volume effect in a sense that we don't see as many people like when we first opened, but I think that could be a bunch of different reasons. But there's definitely less people buying the big boxes, buying the big hobby boxes. People coming in, they want to buy a blaster box or a mega box, but they don't want to, put out the $500 for a hobby box. And I think that's where you're seeing a lot more people just kind of like taking a step back and not buying the big stuff, but they're still buying.
Yeah,
And on the card values, as far as individual cards, they've gone down. I mean, there's no doubt the values of certain players, especially. But there's still people out there. There's still people buying on eBay every day. Just what are you
mm,
selling it for? Are you
yeah,
willing to come down on your price a little bit? Because people are definitely more money conscious right now, and where they were, where it was last year at this time was crazy. So I think it's definitely taken a turn for the worse as far as overall volume, but the amount of people that walk through the door, I think there's just about the same amount of people that even from when we started, we're still getting a lot of people every day. They're just not buying at the volume.
yeah. And I blame the boxes too. I blame that a lot on Panini, because
Yeah,
they actually put out most of the boxes. But I honestly
yeah,
blame it on them, those hobby boxes, because I mean they'll run anywhere from 500 to, I don't even, what's National Treasures, $8,000,
yeah. Crazy money.
$7,500. But the problem is that I see, and it's their business practice, and people buy them, and I completely understand that. But if you're buying a box at $500, right? A hobby box at $500, and they could guarantee that you're going to have, say, 50%, like $250 worth of cards in there. I think they would sell at the minimum, a massive amount of hobby
Yeah.
boxes. The problem is you spend $500, you could end up with less than $50 worth of cards in a hobby box,
Yeah.
right? You could end up
Some of these,
with a lineman or a cornerback as your auto, that
or the Panini One box, for instance, that has one card in it, and it's $500, and you could get your Trey Sermon out of 199 that's worth $30 for a $500 box.
Yeah.
It's I'm not saying that there's not great cards in Panini One, because I've seen some crazy $20,000 cards come out of there, but then you can also get a $30 card, and it's to the extremes where you're basically, it's a gamble. It's a
Yeah.
complete gamble. It's definitely a form of gambling when you're buying one of those boxes, any box really, but to the
And
extreme of
it doesn't stop me. I'm just
yeah,
saying.
I know. But you're not going to buy that National Treasures box for $8,000 if you
No.
think you're going to get a bunch of Dwayne Eskridge and a bunch of the lower priced offensive linemen, and not going to get anything that's worth anywhere near what you're buying it for. So
Yeah.
and then Panini could probably do a lot better than that. So but
that's why I don't mind breaks sometimes, like
yeah.
if I look and I say, well, I'll just get into a break and I'll buy like a New England Patriots or something like that and hope for a Mac Jones. And if I get it, I get it. And if I don't, I don't. But at least, the break is 3 boxes or 4 boxes or a half a case or whatever, versus me just going and spending twice as much on one hobby box and may not get anything out of it.
I know people talk about breaks like they're a waste of money and you're never going to get your money back, but it's the same for boxes sometimes.
Yeah.
You just have to think about it as like, listen, we're opening a box. I'm opening a box with my son. You got to expect that maybe we're not going to get the money we're putting into it, but we do have a shot to get a really, really good card. And
we're
that's
doing it
the fun of
together.
and then we're doing it together and it's fun. And, and then, when we open boxes here, we put the money back into the shop. So all the cards go into our single bin. So we're hoping that we'll do something good for the shop, because I don't keep any of those cards for myself, not anymore at least. But yeah, and in my, unless it's my own, PC. So.
Yeah. Well, speaking of your own PC, what is it that you PC? What's in your collection?
Like how I led you into that one, right? So okay. So I think my guys are Jets and Mets. Those are my two teams. I think that the Zack Wilson. I get a lot of people getting on my case for the Zack Wilson thing, thinking that he's not any good and he's overpriced and all that. And I personally think he's underpriced. Zack Wilson has got a lot of upside. He's got some weapons this year. And I think he's probably 5th on the list of the quarterbacks as far as value is concerned when you go down to the 5 that were drafted. He might even be below, Davis Mills at this point. But I still think that he's got the biggest upside of all of them.
Yeah.
I think because he's so low in price. Plus, I'm a Jets fan, so it's easy to collect them when you're a fan as well. But I also think there's value there. There's a lot of guys that I collect that aren't Jets, and aren't Mets. But I'm a big fan of Tatis. I'm a big fan of Soto. But those are guys through the years that I've collected in baseball. But football guys, Jalen Waddle is my son's collector. He loves Jalen Waddle, but he's got everything Jalen Waddle, every kind of card Jalen Waddle. But I will collect my teams, the Jets and the Mets. But then there's those guys that I like to hold on to. I love Derrick Henry, my favorite player in the NFL. So I have a bunch of Derrick Henry low number cards and downtown and all that. Those are certain guys that I like personally. So.
Anything with basketball?
Basketball, I'm a Luka Doncic. I love his game. I love him as a player. It's just the prices of his cards. Price of all basketball cards seem to be so crazy high. Buying a box is just ridiculous, especially when it's a big year and somebody's a rookie 2019 with Ja Morant. It's just the boxes are so expensive. But I love Ja. I love Doncic. I love the guys that are from those boxes, but it's just so expensive to get them. So when you get one, you get an auto. I just saw on Panini's site today that tomorrow there's going to be Panini rewards points to buy Luka Doncic rookie auto cards from Origins. You know how many points? 50,000 points. That's $4,000 to $5,000 of points
Wow.
just to get a Luka Doncic auto for the
Yeah.
chance of getting it. So
Yeah.
everybody's buying up points now on eBay. If you notice, the points are
I
really
saw that.
expensive.
Yeah, I saw
They're
everybody
all buying
having
them up. They're that's when it happens like that. That's tomorrow, and people are going to try to load up on Luka Doncic. But who's got 50,000 points?
yeah.
I mean, unless you've been collecting points for a long time, I don't. I mean, I have 4,000 in the system, and I've been collecting them for a while. So, but yeah, so it's definitely basketball is expensive, but those are the guys in basketball that I like.
Yeah.
I don't really collect hockey. I'll have my baseball and I have my football. Those are my two sports that I really like. My son is more Pokemon. So
I actually started. I as a kid, we bought hockey cards all the time, but I think we bought the cards for the gum. Like honestly,
yeah,
I love the gum
yeah,
in those packs, back in the early
yeah.
70s, right?
The gum is still in those packs. I still
Yeah.
have some in the store. So
So and probably in the right in the 90s, right? Yeah, in the early 90s, I started, collecting hockey cards again, but there just wasn't that much value in them. I mean, I still have all
yeah,
those cards, and there just wasn't a lot of value in them. But
yeah,
today, I pick and choose what hockey cards I get. Obviously, I'm just going to hunt for the top prospects, and anything else. But getting back to basketball, it's interesting that when you look at all the auction houses, these basketball cards are just going for unbelievable amounts of money. And you would think, I mean, I would think there's more money in football than basketball in the football, but those football cards never really reach that level of.
yeah. It's true. I think in basketball, there's just so fewer players in basketball. So
Yeah,
one of the reasons why they say the boxes are so expensive is there's a better chance you're going to get a good player in one of those boxes than you would get in a football box because there's so many more players on every team.
yeah,
Every basketball team's got what, maybe 10 to 12 players if you include G League.
mhm,
Well, football is there could be 40 different cards for a player for a team.
yeah.
So the point is that a lot of the players, like the LaMelo Ball, I saw a couple of LaMelo Ball auctions for some of his rookie cards, $50,000, $60,000 just for a out of five rookie auto.
Mm,
It's a guy that's not even proven anything and he's $50,000 for an auto. Yeah, that's a
mm,
big money. You don't see that in football. Maybe there's a Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert, low numbered one of one, that might go for that. But there are 6 or 7 different players in basketball that will get you that much money.
yeah. Maybe I should start buying some basketball boxes, right?
You got to find them cheap. They're expensive. Even in my store, they're expensive.
Yeah.
So we have some here. We have some hobbies here if you want to stop by.
I think I've seen them.
Yeah, no, there's a couple really good. The Crown Royale basketball is a really nice rip. If you really want to get something nice, Crown Royale basketball this year, cards are beautiful. A lot of really nice rookies in there, and there's a lot of low numbered cards in there.
Isn't there
It's worth
kabooms
it.
in there too?
That's the Kaboom, yeah. That's the
Yeah,
Kaboom one. So
yeah,
I've seen a LeBron, I've seen a Luca, I've seen a bunch of different Kabooms come out of there.
mm,
It's probably the best basketball box of the year, in my opinion, for the money. I mean, that's
yeah,
not the best one. The Flawless was obviously the top one, but if you really want to not spend more than $300 or $400, that's where you go. So
yeah,
that's one of the better ones. And football, there's a couple of different ones that I like a lot. I like limited. I like the Phoenix H2 is really a good buy. Has a bunch of different parallels in there that are just a couple $100 boxes.
mm,
Or you can go buy the new box that's coming out this week. The Panini Prisms are out this Friday, and we'll have them in the shop. They're probably going to be around 1,500, which is expensive,
yeah.
but it's
I'll
Panini Prism, so
I'll invest in the break.
yeah. That's probably your better option. $150 a spot. So
Yeah. What is that? Do you know what they guarantee in that $1,500 Prism box? Is there one
two,
auto,
two
two
autos,
auto, two autos?
two autos. They don't guarantee it's going to be a rookie, but they do guarantee one's going to be a numbered rookie. or a numbered card, not necessarily rookie. You'll get a one numbered auto and one regular auto.
Okay.
And typically, if you've ever want to open the prison boxes, 9 times out of 10, you're opening and you're getting some guy that's not even, playing.
Mm.
It's just unfortunate though that they put so many bad autos in some of those boxes because there's a lot of cards in those prints. So you're not likely to get it. When you do get a good auto, it's worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
that's
the whole.
why.
That's why it's you get a Justin Herbert auto out of a 2020 box, and that's a lot of money. This year it'll be Mac Jones and Trevor Lawrence,
Mm.
and those boxes are going to, it could be worth it. It could be worth $300, could be worth $3,000.
Yeah.
So they levy you off right at 1,400, so 1,500.
Okay. So upcoming shows. I know. What are you doing? I know I'm doing Mohegan. You might be doing Mohegan, right?
I haven't heard yet.
Okay. And
Still on the fence with Mohegan. I'm waiting for them to get back to me. I was on the waiting list for Mohegan. I got in them late.
yeah,
So
I think that from what I heard, I think they're going to be opening up the second half of that room.
yeah, that's what they told. That's what they said. I got an email last week about that, and then
Yeah.
we'll be at Springfield at the end of the month.
Springfield is
And,
June 26th, the New England Card Show, and then National. You're doing the Sunday in National.
Sunday and Nationals.
Yeah.
Thank you, by the way. So so definitely. I needed people like you to help me with getting around and getting into some of these shows. I really appreciate all you did for us. You're a great guy to know and a good person, a great man.
Well, I
And
mean, if you're successful, I'm successful, right? I mean, that's
well,
really what this hobby is. When you meet friends in this
yeah,
hobby, if you can make the people around you successful, the success just
yeah,
spreads. Yeah.
it's good to. There's so many people in this hobby. You're like, I wish I never met that person because it's. And then there's people that you're just like, oh, I can't believe we met this guy. He's been a blessing, and that's been you so far. So we really appreciate you and your support of our store and having us on today. And thank you for all you do and for this show too to get the name out of there. So
Yeah, absolutely. Tell the listeners where they can find you online, your website, your Instagram.
yep. So we're at ja.sports.cards. That's on Instagram, ja.sports.cards. We're located. Our store is at 4133 Whitney Avenue in Hamden, right near the Hamden Cheshire line on Route 10, coming right down from either Southington 84 or from the Merritt Parkway, right on Route 10, Whitney Avenue, all the way up. And then our website is jasportscards.net, N-E-T, and that's about it. I think we're here most every day. We're closed on Mondays, 11 to 6. We're open every day, other than Sunday. We're open 12 to 5.
Good.
Mondays were closed, but you'll either see me here or my son, my other son, Lucas. And we have a good staff here. So
Definitely a good staff. Definitely
thank you.
knowledgeable. I've learned a lot just coming in to the
Appreciate it.
show.
Thank you very much, Ken.
Great. So, look, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. And if you like what you hear, please like, subscribe, and most importantly, tell a friend, spread the word. And until next time, be good to yourselves and everyone around you. Allan, thanks for being on today.
Thank you, Ken.